You know, the world around us, the cities we live in, the streets we walk down, none of it is an accident. The layout of our lives is really the result of thousands of choices, big and small. Today, we're going to take a look at the blueprint behind it all, spatial planning.
I mean, it's so easy to take these things for granted, right? But really think about it. Why is that park located right there? Why is the school just a few blocks away? And why does that highway cut a path right through town? These aren't random. They're actually the very questions at the heart of spatial planning.
Okay, so when it comes to building a community, you can really boil it down to two basic approaches. You can be reactive, which is basically playing catch-up, just putting out fires with short-term fixes as problems pop up. Or you can be proactive, thinking ahead, trying to anticipate future challenges, and designing for the long haul. And spatial planning? It's all about embracing that proactive mindset.
All right, so let's get into it. What exactly is this blueprint for our shared future?
So at its absolute core, planning is really just about making choices. It's this ongoing process of deciding how to use the resources we have, time, money, land, to get to a goal we've set for the future. Now, when you take that basic idea and apply it to our physical world, well, that's when you get to the core of spatial planning. It's really the set of tools and methods that public authorities use to influence where people are going to live, where businesses are going to go, and how all those activities fit together in our shared space.
Okay, so that's the what. But let's be real. The bigger question is why? Why does this kind of abstract idea actually matter in our everyday lives?
Well, it turns out the goals are pretty huge, and they all circle back to one thing: building a better community for all of us. It's this delicate balance, right? You're trying to foster economic growth while making sure things are fair for everyone. It means planning for the essentials, like schools and roads, but at the same time protecting our natural environment. And maybe the most important part you see here is making sure the community itself is right there at the center of the whole conversation.
Now, this all sounds amazing on paper, right? But actually putting it into practice, wow, that is a massive balancing act. It's a constant juggling act between what we need today and what we're going to need tomorrow.
And this quote really just nails the central challenge here. As one source puts it, the main goal is all about resolving conflicts between socioeconomic development and environmental protection. I mean, think about it. It's a constant tug of war between our desire to grow, more homes, more jobs, and the absolute necessity of protecting our environment.
A really helpful way to think about this balancing act is with these three pillars of sustainability. You've got the economic pillar for growth, you have the social pillar for people's well-being, and of course, the environmental pillar for protecting the planet. A really good spatial plan has to support all three of these, because if one pillar starts to crumble, the whole structure just becomes unstable.
So with a challenge this big, how do planners even begin to navigate it? Well, they lean on a few key guiding principles to kind of light the way.
First up, we've got the principle of integration. And this one is huge. It's the idea that you just can't plan in silos. Building new roads impacts housing, and new housing impacts the local environment. When this gets ignored, you get stuff like a brand new neighborhood popping up with no easy way for people to get to work, or a new factory built without thinking about its environmental impact. Everything is connected.
Next up is a principle that is just absolutely crucial: participation. Great plans are not made by a few experts locked away in a room. When you ignore this, you get projects that nobody actually wants, like a highway that slices right through a vibrant neighborhood, destroying its community feel because the people who live there never even got a say. Real participation makes sure a plan is actually what people need.
And that brings us to our third key principle: equity. This is all about one simple idea: fairness. Without this, you end up with these deeply divided cities, where one neighborhood has beautiful parks and great schools, while another one, just a few miles away, doesn't even have basic services. Equity is all about making sure everyone has a fair shot at a good quality of life.
Something else that's really important to get is that this planning isn't just a one-size-fits-all thing. It actually operates at every single scale of our society, from your local neighborhood all the way up to the entire nation.
Think of it like nested dolls, starting from the biggest and getting more and more specific. It can start at the international level, where countries work together on something they share, like a river. Then it scales down to the national level, setting a big picture vision for the whole country. Below that is the regional level, coordinating across different towns. And then finally, you get down to the local level, the super detailed plan for your specific neighborhood.
And if you want a perfect real-world example of this, just look at Rwanda.
Their National Land Use and Development Master Plan is this incredibly powerful, comprehensive strategy that guides the entire country's vision for how and where it's going to grow. It's really impressive stuff.
So when you pull it all together, what we're really talking about is a huge shift in mindset. It's about moving away from just reacting to problems and moving toward intentionally designing the world we actually want to live in.
And, this way of thinking didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's really evolved. Back in the decades after World War II, what they called development planning was almost entirely focused on one thing: economic growth. Period. But by the 1960s, people started to realize that that just wasn't enough. And that led to the rise of what we call spatial planning today, which takes a much broader, more sustainable view of the world.
So here's the bottom line. The most important thing to take away from all this: spatial planning is so much more than just drawing lines on a map. It's a really powerful tool that empowers us, as a society, to shape our communities with purpose. It's how we build a future that's not just prosperous, but also sustainable and fair for everyone. And that kind of brings it all back home, doesn't it? I want to leave you with a question. Just take a look around your own neighborhood, your own city. If you were the planner, if you were the one holding the pen, what would you do differently? What's one change you'd make to build a better future right where you live?